Welcome in, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. We have a lot going on. Day game Wednesday as typical hectic mornings, but crazy day yesterday. How about the AL West three-way tie? The Angels, meanwhile, dumping off everybody they acquired. Just absolute one of the worst mishaps I've ever seen from a front office in sports history. Forget MLB, sports history, one of the worst mishaps from a front office. And meanwhile, the rest of that AL West is going to be a pretty good race. We'll get into all of those games. Yesterday, as far as how to beat the bookie members go, was a losing day. Some tough spots there, some tough road dogs just didn't get it going for us offensively. D-backs get shut down. Reds get shut down. Did get some winners in there as well. And hopefully we can keep that going. John had me beat yesterday with that Rays game. I was looking at Marlins and it wasn't close. It wasn't close.
But yeah, just two teams going in different directions. One team a perennial playoff team. The other team just an also-ran trying to get there. This is why we follow the trends, guys. And now I believe it's 21 of 23, is it, that the Rays have beaten Miami. And like we said, unless Alcantara is going to come up with another complete game shutout or allow one run, just not going to get it done. So we move on from that one. Who else treated us good yesterday?
Nationals plus 180.
A big plus 180 dog. Again, as we put it yesterday, just as I put it, the same preview today. Toronto's been an overlay every day since going back to the series at Baltimore. They're just not that good right now. And Washington just undervalued the entire year. As I put in the preview yesterday, and I've got the same preview today, Toronto's been an overlay every game since the series at Baltimore. We've been against Toronto just about 5 or 6 out of these games. While they're overvalued, Washington undervalued on the road all year. Now just 2 games under 500. They're betting them. They're like they're a mop. They're betting against them like they're a mop-up team. Bichette, Chapman, both on the IL. We'll talk about that game when we get back to it. But we have the Nationals yesterday. Our losers were on the West Coast. So we started the day early. Nice. Mets were in a tough one. A 0-0 game till late in the game. They just cannot score. I thought they were worth the value there yesterday. They don't get it done for us. And West Coast was just a fucking nightmare. Those games were over quick. By the second inning, I was already putting the red L next to the Reds, who look like they're toast right now, and the Diamondbacks. It just doesn't matter. Dodgers right now are on fire. This team is somebody to be recommended. What a series coming up this weekend. Atlanta Braves going to the Dodgers. By the way, we'll talk about it. Both have a little look ahead today going into that series. But it's a down day. That's too many down days in a row. We'll look to bounce back today. And it's not a great card so far, just the Nationals bet.
Yep, we can go ahead and dive in. We do have some of these early games going here, 1 o'clock Eastern. We have, we'll start with those and then move back on track like normal. White Sox at Baltimore, first one. Orioles just crushing them here, 18-3 the first 2. They've won 4 or 5 meetings this year. This White Sox team's dropped 4 of 6. And then you have the Orioles, they won 9 of 11. 2 teams opposite directions. Cease versus Gibson. Cease just hasn't been like himself. 8 ERA in August. Last time out, 9 runs, 4 1/3 there. And then you have his start earlier this year against the Orioles. Decent, 4 runs, 2 earned, 6 innings. Gibson, 5 of his last 7 starts are quality starts. Last time out, 3 runs in 8 innings against Toronto. This is can't back the White Sox. Same thing said yesterday. It's Baltimore playing red hot. White Sox are a dead team. Might be looking at the name C, seeing big plus money and lighten up, but just don't see it here. It's the last game of a homestand. We mentioned how many times already. Baltimore, with Bautista gone, all the issues they're having now, need to pull out these games. It's a game you can't lose here. I imagine they complete the sweep.
Look, you got to add Rushman and Hayes, both not in the lineup for the Orioles today. This game is screaming, bet the White Sox at this price and hope that Cease has a little bit of a turnaround. But he's been ugly. The White Sox are ugly. Orioles, look, Rays are right on their heels. They can't slip up. I'll lay off this game in a game that I really want to bet the White Sox just can't pull the trigger.
And we have this AL Central battle. Guardians even up the series last night, 4-2 win there. They've now split the 6 meetings in Minnesota so far this season. Bibby versus Gray, pretty good pitching matchup. Baby's been terrific. 3-1, 2.70 in August. Last time out, 2 runs in 6 innings against Toronto. And Gray, 4 of his last 5 starts, quality starts, 2.48 ERA. This is a pitching matchup that screams to the under. We saw the under yesterday. That makes it now on the season series to the under 7-2. So we'll see if that keeps on going here. This is Cleveland or nobody. You're getting a pretty big dog price with a pitcher who's going just as good, if not better than Gray. I want Cleveland here in this spot. Still not completely out of it. They got to take care of business in this matchup. We'll see if they do. This is the only chance at any kind of a run, and Bibby's been winning the most of the games for them.
Yeah, I got to go with you on that one, Ben. This is just a little bit high. Bibby pitching real good. He's been great. 10-3 with a 3.01 ERA since they brought this kid up. Really, if you just think what could have been for Cleveland.
Yeah,
you got Bieber, McKenzie, Quantrill, all on the IL. You would have added in Bibby, Allen. They really would have had some staff. Savali pitched good ball for them. But it is what it is at this point. Just getting some lineups for the Cardinals. Excuse me. But back to this Guardian game. Guardians need it more. Do they think they're still in it? Right now they're sitting 6 games out, 6 games behind. So just an absolute must game for them. Cleveland or nobody. I would take it if it was a little higher.
And then the last 1 o'clock game we have is Angels at Phillies. Can't want any part of this Angels team. Phillies get it done again last night. They've won the last 5 meetings, 44-20. Angels 2-3 on the trip. They've lost 7 of 9, and they go ahead and sell everybody or release everybody, which is kind of fascinating as well. Because on waivers starting tomorrow, these guys can be picked up. Giolito can be picked up. Grichuk can be picked up. Renfroe can be picked up. So going to be interested to see who takes advantage of that as far as other teams out there. But still, Angels absolute disaster. If they weren't already dead, they just took them out back and shot them. Detmers versus Sanchez today. Detmers 8+ ERAs last 3 starts. Sanchez 3 straight quality starts. 2 pitchers in different directions. 2 teams in different directions. Worth a look at the favorite here with the Phillies today.
Yeah. So just a side note, a few teams released. Not that they released them. They put them on waivers. They're not released. Grichuk and Renfroe both played last night. White Sox put Clevenger, who's actually their best pitcher this year, on waivers. Yep. Yankees put Bader on waivers. So until they get claimed, they're still on the team, and they'll be in the lineup again today, if not claimed. But just like you said, when something like that happens, we call it dead men walking. So they're playing there. They've already been waived. The team is telling them we don't want you. You're not part of our plan going into the next year. And I mean, this has been a dead team since the trade deadline. Everything just backfired on them. This is like the GM just putting a gun in his mouth and blowing his brains out. Nope. You keep Ohtani, you get rid of prospects, you get new guys that you're only getting rid of. It's called a nightmare. Anyway, want no part of them. For the Phillies, crushing the ball right now, red hot. 7.5 runs a game, batting .321 on his homestand. Only downfall, your catcher, day game after night game, JT Real Noodle, he'll sit out. And that's what usually happens with catchers in a day game after a night game.
Yep. And as far as some of those guys getting picked up on waivers, I'm interested to see the Dodgers do. I mean, Dodgers is absolutely killing everybody right now. But still, the question mark for the playoffs is that pitching a little bit. Maybe they go get Clevenger. Maybe they go get Giolito. They seem to flip around pitching better than anybody. We'll see if they do that. Then back to the top of the card, Padres at St. Louis. Pretty cheap price on this game, and we're looking at a pick 'em here. I mean, pick your poison. Do you want a dead Padres team with Rich Hill, the 9+ ERA, or do you want Mikolas and the Cardinals 0-4, 5.81 so far in August? Last 2 starts, 12 runs and 10 2/3. 2 pitchers being crushed, 2 teams with nothing to play for. Cardinals, they're hitting 146. Padres, they dropped 4 or 5. I don't see an edge in this game. You're just literally betting to bet it. 2 gross teams, gross pitching matchup. Nothing here to look for.
Well, what I was looking for, and I'm shocked that I'm not seeing it, getaway day, long trip back to the West Coast today to go play San Francisco. I thought Padres might give some guys a day off. They did not. Everybody's in the lineup. Cardinals, they've got Goldschmidt and Arenado in the lineup. Mikolas has been horrible lately. As bad as he's been, he's still better than Hill. Just got to give him the pitching advantage in that one. If this game goes any higher, makes the Cardinals a dog at home, I see them being worth a little price as a dog at home just because I think Hill is that bad.
Absolutely. Then we have the other 2 NL Central teams here. Brewers at the Cubbies. Cubbies get the win last night, snaps the Brewers' 9-game win streak. 1-0 game there. Steele just wins the pitching edge there against Burns. And then you have this Cubs team now 8-3, their last 11. Their next matchup is with Cincy, who's kind of behind them a little bit in the wild card, but 4 games back in the Central. They are looking at catching the Brewers here in the division. Woodruff versus Hendricks. Woodruff, since coming back, 3.57 ERA, had a quality start his last time out versus a dead Padres team, had a quality start versus the Cubs back in April. And then Hendricks, his last 2 times out, 3 runs across 12 innings, but against the Pirates and the Royals. So not too tough of opponents there. Did have a quality start versus the Brewers back in July. Tough game. I mean, Brewers after the long win streak, we talk about it all the time. These teams who, go on these win streaks, they go on a couple of losses after the fact. So maybe a little bit of regression here from Milwaukee. Obviously, Cubs want this a bit more. Still not willing to buck what the Brewers have been doing the last 2 weeks. This would be Brewers or nobody for me, but I don't think it's worth this price here.
I got a little bit of a lean just the other way. Woodruff's been good since his return, but not great. And he's just always a better pitcher at home. Short sample size, but in 3 games this year at home, a 1.65 ERA, 3 road games, 3.57. Go back to last year, Woodruff, a 2.06 ERA at home, 4.10 on the road. So definitely a better pitcher on the road. Hendricks, his last 2 starts, just 3 runs in 12 innings against lesser opponents, Pittsburgh and KC, and he's not as good at home. Just a more important game as the Cubs chase Milwaukee. And it's been said, you have that long winning streak. When you finally lose it, maybe there's a little fall off. They got shut out last night by Steele. And as I said yesterday, this kid Steele's getting the job done. Would be Cubbies or nobody as a home dog.
Then Reds at Giants. Giants get it done again last night, beating them up 6-1. You have Cobb who takes that no-hitter, 8 2/3, can't pull it out. Green versus Webb in this one. Both pitchers rough so far. Green, last 2 starts, 14 runs, 15 hits, and 6 2/3. Just 2 starts back. Has been a bit better on the road this year, 3.93 ERA. And Webb, last 2 starts, not looking like himself. 9 runs and 11 1/3, but both against the Braves. So prior to that, he was pitching well. This is his perfect chicken soup game at home, which is terrific. 2.48 ERA. Against a Reds team, just not getting it done with the bats right now. Lost 5 of 6, hitting 176. This is a slight lean here to the Reds. Maybe you see Green come up with a start here in a pitcher's ballpark, better on the road. This is his bounce back opportunity. But more or less, I have no interest here back in Cincinnati. Don't want to lay Giants at this price, especially with Webb's last 2 starts. But looking at the Braves, this is a game I'm just staying away from here. Don't see as any value in Cincinnati right now. Looking a little bit like a dead team.
Just let me get back to you, Ben. Just wanted to send out a bet right now. We got that out. So we sent out Guardians right now. We just made a move on the Guardians for you guys. And we'll get back to that in a minute. And they're just putting Papaya, I guess is the pronunciation for the Dodgers in the box instead of Lynn. We'll get to that momentarily. Getting back to Cincy. Cincy, they withstood a couple of injuries earlier in the year. Jonathan India went out. They hung in there. Fraley, who had actually was amongst the leaders in RBIs, he went out. They hung in there. Finally, now Matt McClain goes out. McClain batting .290 for them. He was giving them some good baseball. Now with him out, they've just generated 0 offense the last couple of games at San Fran. Pitcher's ballpark, but they're just getting nothing done there. Will the pitcher's ballpark help Green? I don't know that right now. After the first 2 starts come back, anything is going to help Green. Webb is Webb, especially at home. 2.48 ERA at home. San Francisco looks to have turned it around, getting a little healthier. Henniger come off the IL last night. Yastrzemski supposed to come off the IL today. The price is a little high, but this is a getaway day for the Reds. Long West Coast Red trip. They look like a dead team to me. I've been on them the last 2 days. Didn't like what I saw. I'll sit out on this one.
Yeah, they go back 4-game series with the Cubbies. Doubleheader starts on Friday, so that's a series they can make up lost ground in the wild card really quick if they take advantage against one of the teams ahead of them. Then Braves at Colorado. Braves get it done again last night, 3-1. Bit more low-scoring game, especially for this matchup. All 6 this year now, 57-19. They're leading the season matchup. And this Rockies team keeps dropping games, 8 of 9, hitting 224. Freeland versus Vines. We talked about it at the start. You have this look ahead here for the Dodgers. Braves now going with a guy making his debut in Vines, was pretty decent in the minors. We'll see if that carries over at all. Tough to make your debut in Coors Field. That's a little bit of a slap in the face. I'd hate to make my debut there. Freeland, he's been decent at home this season. In August, 5.79 ERA. Was roughed up by the Braves earlier this year, but had a quality start versus them last year. Could only be the Rockies here. If you want to buck an ownership trend of 12-13, Freeland, one of your better guys in this Rockies rotation, which really doesn't say much, but going to give him the slight pitching edge over a guy making his debut in Coors Field. And then you have that look ahead hanging over the Braves' head here with the Dodger series coming up. Slightly in here to Colorado. Tough to buck that trend.
Yeah. This is a serious trend. This isn't like a few games around. This is just straight out and out ownership. 12 of 13, all 6 this year by 57-19. That's a whoop ass. I just feel that this is a different scenario here. This is Braves going into LA. They're basically playing for who's going to you're going to play the playoffs through either Atlanta or LA. Now Atlanta's got a nice little lead. It's a 4-game series. I don't know what they're going to do. The Braves have played their top players every single game this year. To me, this is a game to sit them, get ready for a 4-game series that's really going to determine who's going to be the number 1 team in the National League. We'll see what they do with that. But bringing up a kid, as Ben said, to make his major league debut at Coors Field, and here's some numbers on this kid. He's got a 2.86 ERA, which looks impressive. A 1.27 whip, that doesn't impress me. A 25-11 K walk ratio, so barely over 2-1. But that's in 28 and the third innings. He ain't missing bats in the minors. If he ain't missing bats in Coors, some balls going to be flying out. It's got to be Rockies and nobody in this one. We'll wait to see where the lineups and line goes.
And then the other side of that look ahead, D-backs at Dodgers. Now Dodgers beat them up 9-1 yesterday. They've won 4 of 6 in LA this season, lead at 2-0. Staying red hot, 6 of 7, 23-4. Their last 27, just ridiculous pace right now. Then you have this Arizona team who's now dropped 3 of 4 since a nice little win streak they're putting together. Again, the look ahead there, it's Fat versus Pepoit now. Pepoit 2 starts so far this year, allowed 1 run in each, 2 runs in 9 innings overall. That's against Cleveland and Miami. A couple of offenses pretty dead right now. 3 outings versus the D-backs last year, gave up 4 runs in 11 and a third. Didn't go past 4 innings in any of those 3 starts. So looking at a guy not going to go too far today. Hasn't gone too far so far this year. Longest he's gone is 5 innings. Longest he's gone against the D-backs is 4. Fat going, and he's actually been decent. 3.03 ERA in August. 2 runs in 5 and a third versus Cincy's last time out. This is a D-backs or nobody with that look ahead. Pitching edge, I'm going to give it here to Fat in this one. Didn't expect to be saying that today, but he gets the edge.
Yeah, again, same thing. Look ahead, huge look ahead. So Dodgers trail the Braves by 4 games. They don't have to win all 4 to catch them, but they can make up some other games elsewhere. Dodgers 13.5 games right now in first place in the West ahead of San Francisco. So this game, obviously, much more important. Arizona, who just got bounced from the 3rd wild card spot by their loss in San Francisco's win last night with Papayat on the mound. Again, do the Dodgers rust anybody today going into that big 4-game series? It's Arizona or nobody. Again, we'll wait for the line in the lineups, and we'll see later on.
The nice AL matchup, Astros at Boston. Astros get it done again last night. They've now won 4 straight, scoring 11 and over 11 runs per game, hitting 384. Bats on fire right now. Boston now dropped 3 straight, just 10-10 at home since the All-Star break. Valdez versus Crawford. Valdez, fascinating what he's been doing the last 2 months. 2 outings now, no-hit baseball. This last one lasted 7 innings. Did have 6 Ks, 5 walks, 114 pitches there. 3 prior starts gave up 16 runs in 19 2/3. Crawford coming off 6 innings. His last 2 starts, 3 runs in 11 innings, 12 Ks, 3 walks against the Dodgers and the Yankees. Had a quality start versus the Stros last year. He is worse at home. You just have Houston on a getaway day here. I understand they're in this big race right now with the Mariners and the Rangers. Everyone's all tied up. Every win matters here down the stretch. But I see this as Boston, home dog to avoid getting swept, chasing a wild card spot against a pitcher coming off chasing a no-hitter. See some value here in the Red Sox today. Wouldn't be surprised if Valdez gets jumped. could be better off just playing the over the way the Astros bats have been going here in this one. Valdez, I imagine, gets cracked as well.
Yeah, I see. I see the way what Ben's looking at with the whole thing with Valdez, chasing the no hit, a lot of pitches. Just can't go against these outrageous. These are softball hitting numbers. 384 over your last 4 games, 11.25 runs a game. Looks like the Red Sox, looks like their playoff hopes dwindling now also. Crawford, he's only completed 6 innings once in his last 7 starts. The way Houston are hitting, I'm going to go on a limb and say he ain't completing 6 innings this one either. Look for a lot of scoring to be done in this one. I think the Red Sox will reach Valdez, but I think Houston's going to do some hitting of their own. This is a tough one. I think Houston's a little high, but you're paying for that because they're on fire right now with the bats.
Then Oakland at Seattle. A's actually get it done last night. That snaps the meetings on the season. Mariners had won the 8 prior meetings this season, snaps the A's 3-game losing streak, still scoring just 1.5 run per game, hitting under 160. Then you have the Seattle team, who's been red hot, keep on getting it done, 12-2 their last 14. Rodriguez late scratch last night. Let's see what's going on with him. Neal versus Miller. Very tough for Seattle to drop that game last night. Of the series with Oakland, and another one coming up later. You're not going to win every single one, but damn, just to have this opportunity to be in first place and then blow it the next day to the A's. Now right back tied up with both Houston and Texas, and for a race down the road. This is absolute must-win game here for the Mariners. And for anyone looking to lay a price today, don't blame you for wanting to look at the run line here. A lot of you guys have been on the run line this entire Mariners stretch. Don't blame you here for coming back with it today.
We got to be careful with the run line. And getting back to last night, this is the reason we bet listed pitchers only. So if you bet last night, you thought you had Kirby for you going, all of a sudden you looked up because he was a late scratch. They put Weaver in late. And all of a sudden you got Weaver, and boom, it's 1-0 in the first inning, Oakland. Minutes, and I mean minutes before the game, they scratched Rodriguez. So that's a tough one. But again, this is why we bet listed pitchers. If you had a listed pitcher bet, there's no action on the game, and you don't lose that bet. And if you Atlanta, for you Brave, for the guys that had that Brave Mariner parlay, like some people we won't even say it. You'd have no bet. You'd have a wing bet on Atlanta. I can't even get into it anymore. So, but Rodriguez out last night. He's questionable today, and France also left the game yesterday. 2 big hitters out. I wouldn't be going landing Mariners so fast. Let's see who's in the lineup. This line is a big number. Neal's terrible. Miller's pitched good in August, 3.71 ERA. 2 starts versus the A's, 1 run in 12 innings, 16 Ks, 1 walk. All stats that I love, but you don't want to overlay without 2 big bats in the lineup.
Then we have Yankees at Detroit right now. So waiting on a pitcher for the Tigers. Originally was Manning in the box. Some spots started to show Wentz. Nothing confirmed yet. See what's going on there. Manning's been terrific. If it ends up being him, will be more so worth a look. Wentz been brutal at home, so that makes it tough to back against Garrett Cole, coming off a quality start against the Rays after being roughed up by Boston. A couple of decent outings versus the Tigers last season. Yankees now 1-7 last 8 meetings, owning this matchup a little bit, 3-2 on the trip, still not getting it done with the bats, hitting 183. They have now scored 3.6 runs per game. And then you have this Tigers team, lost 4 straight, scoring 2.25 runs per game. Only worth a look if Manning's in the box on this one. And even then, going to be a bit hard to pull, but too big of a number here for the Yankees. As good as Cole is, the matchup, ownership, everything else, Yankees bats not warranted to be this price.
No, they're not. Look, Cole, pitching great, leads the league, quality starts, 19 quality starts, 3rd in ERA, Cy Young candidate for sure. Detroit, terrible, 28th, 29th now, tied with KC, scoring 3.95 runs per game. They don't score. But the Yankees don't either. 3-2 on this road trip, as Ben said, 3.6 runs a game, hitting 183. Coming into life a little bit more the last couple of games. Torres hit another home run last night. So with Manning in the box, there's no way that Yankees are 210 on the road, even with Cole pitching. We'll wait for the pitcher. We'll wait for the lineups. Detroit or nobody, regardless who the pitcher is. There's no way, even if it's Wentz, that I want to have the Yankees, a team that's not scoring, not winning, out of it, this much favorite on the road.
And we have Washington at Toronto. No secret what the look is here. Nats, another big-time dog. They get it for us last night, plus 180. They've won 6 of the last 8 meetings. 6-3 the last 9, 12-5 the last 17. Playing good baseball right now. Jays, they've dropped 5 of 7. They're 11-12, below 500 at home since the All-Star break. Corbin versus Bassett. Corbin, we talked about it last week, last time he was up on the bump. And he's a guy, gives them quality starts, gives them wins. Half the time out there, he's not bad. And 2-0, 2.70. Last time out, 3 runs in 6 innings versus the Yankees. Bassett roughed up for 4 runs in 5 2/3 by Cleveland. Did absolutely own the Nats last season with 13 shutout innings back when he was with the Mets. Doesn't matter. Big price here for Washington. What Corbin's been doing, keeping them in games on the nights he has it going for him. And Jays, a below 500 team since the break, do not deserve to be a 2-1 favorite over, I don't know, 5th best team over the last month here, like we said yesterday. So Nats are nobody.
So Corbin's got just exactly what Ben said. 13 of 26 starts are quality starts. That leads the Nationals in quality starts. 3 of his last 4 quality starts. 2-0 with a 2.70 ERA his last 4 starts. Bassett, still going to give Bassett the pitching edge. But by the other hand, Bassett now, I believe it's just 2 quality starts in his last 6. He is better at home, even giving him the edge. This is a Toronto team. Missing Bichette, their leading hitter. Missing Chapman. Now, here's the stats that I dug up for you guys. Jays hit 276 versus left-hand pitching. Who's their 2 best hitters against left-hand pitching? You guessed it. Bichette, 369. Chapman, 315. Take those 2 guys out of the lineup. They're an average team against left-handed pitching. The number is ridiculous. Once again, Toronto, just an overlay. Washington Nationals, undervalued on the road. Corbin, not as bad as his name is associated with. It's an overlay. We took this for 1 unit.
And Rays at Miami. Rays, the other winner from last night, get it done 11-2. Now 21 of the last 24 meetings. They're red hot, winning 7 of 8. Marlins ice cold, losing 7 of 9. Offenses in complete different directions. Eflin versus Luzardo. Eflin, 4 of his last 5 starts are quality starts. The loss that the Rays had against Miami, he did pitch, and he was roughed up for that for 5 runs in 4 innings. And that was a home start. Worst on the road this season, 4.37. And Luzardo, last time out, 6 shutout innings versus the Padres. Prior to that, brutal 0-3, 11.68. He has been better at home this season. This is Rays or nobody. You're looking at this ownership here. 2 teams going opposite directions. I thought yesterday maybe Sandy will give them that start to keep the Marlins in this game. But like John said, the Marlins, if they give up more than 2 runs, it's too much for their offense to handle right now. So Rays or nobody here in this spot.
I don't know if Ben gave you the stats. I'm busy looking at some other things, but that's Marlins. They've lost 7 of 9, scoring 1.89 runs a game, hitting 215. Rays, 7 of 8 they've won, scoring 8 runs a game. We're in 2 different worlds here right now.
Yep.
Rays, like you said, in playoffs every year. Marlins just not getting there. I'll give Luzardo the edge just because they're home or away splits. Luzardo better pitcher at home. Eflin a better pitcher at home. They're playing in Miami. Give Luzardo a little bit of a pitching edge. But Tampa owns the matchup. They're playing better. Miami's playing terrible. And the little hitting that they do, they may have no hitting if Soler is out of the lineup today, leads the team 35 homers, 71 RBIs. He left the game last night questionable. Sorry, guys. Rays or nobody.
And it's Rangers at Mets. Mets, this offense just as cold as the Marlins right now. They've lost 6 of 7, scoring 1.86 runs per game, hitting 179. And then you have Texas now, since the 8-game losing streak, they've won 3 of 4, starting to trend the other direction a little bit. Dunning versus Reyes. Dunning hasn't been good lately. 7 runs in 9 innings last 2 times out. And Reyes, just 3rd start so far this season, going to be 2 prior starts demolished by the Braves, 10 runs in 5 2/3. Take it with a grain of salt, but granted, if he wasn't going against the Braves, just the 3rd scoring team, the Rangers here after the Dodgers in there. So not too much of an upgrade for him as far as opponents. No interest here in the Mets. This is a big price here for the way Dunning's been going. Rangers bats haven't been lighting it up. But again, one of these teams in the 3-way race here in the West, starting to turn it back around. They need these games here. Rangers are nobody.
Rangers are nobody. I would like to use an explicitive about the Mets, but I won't. Got us 2 days in a row. I don't even want to say they're hitting whatever they're hitting, which is 179, because they're not hitting. 186 runs per game and 179 over this dropping 6 of their last 7. Just a dead team. Done. Blow them up already. Reyes, this poor kid has he's made 2 starts in the major leagues, both against the Braves and now Texas. Get ready for another beatdown, Reyes. I think Texas finally wakes up today. They won these last couple of games against the Mets, but by no means are lighting it up. We talked about Texas, third in scoring, but they score over a run more at home, 6.09 runs per game, as opposed to on the road, just 5.02 runs per game. City Field, you guys know, pitcher's ballpark, but I don't think that's gonna help Reyes. I think he gets shellacked today. If the price is too high, Texas, just with a couple of wins over the Mets, should not make them this higher price on the road, but they're an overlay because of a reason, and that reason is the Mets couldn't hit me if I was pitching today.
The last game on the card, Pirates at Kansas City. Kicking myself a bit for this one last night. Pittsburgh gets it done. Just a big price there for the Royals. Reagans have been terrific, but big price for Kansas City. That price has come back down to life today. Jackson versus Zerpa. Neither pitcher's been going terrific. Jackson last time out followed an opener, did have a bit of a technically quality start numbers, 2 runs in 6 innings there. First 2 starts roughed up a bit more. Zerpa last time out, 5 runs in 3 innings by the worst team in baseball, the Oakland A's. Lean to Kansas City at a dog price here, but gross matchup. Pirates have dominated so far 2-0 the first 2 in this matchup. They've won 3 of 5. Kansas City now lost 9 of 10. Dead team, second worst home team in baseball. Just a game I'm not going to get involved with here.
Yeah, KC, man. I saw what Ben saw yesterday with Ragans, and he did what he did what he was supposed to do. He blanked Pittsburgh, but somebody's had to finish the game, and they couldn't. Pittsburgh did what they needed to do. Royals, 9 of 10 losers, 3.1 runs per game, hitting just 192. Want no part of them. They do hit a little better, usually at home, 4.49 runs per game. Second worst home record. You can have Zerpa go. Jackson actually looked decent his last time out, although it was in a bulk reliever role. I think the line is right where it is now. I believe Pittsburgh should be a favorite over a terrible KC team at home. So I'm going to leave this one alone unless some big lineups happen. We'll check those out later.
That's the Wednesday card, guys. Lots of day games, lots going on there. Hopefully we get back on track with a couple of bets out so far today. Looking at a couple other sides. We'll see what happens there. Some look-ahead spots. A lot coming up this weekend. As always, if you guys want all the information, all the bets, howtobeatthebookie.com or download the How to Beat the Bookie app. And, we got an Instagram Live to get to, John.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys here tomorrow.